sleep because I think that night I felt like a bit like suicidal.
Sure.
Yeah, I was anti-Christ, I was anti-God. God doesn't exist. Show me, point to me, where's God now? No, I was that guy, you know. Drink, I would go out, I would have this woman, have that woman. I felt like it was a reminder of the pain that I went through, you know. I completely disconnected from God, from church, just because I felt rejected. Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast, Everything About Life with Lelo and KG, or All Things About Life with Lelo and KG, whichever one you prefer. My name is Katleho, also known as KG, and please guys, we are seeing those subscription. Please don't forget to please subscribe. We are watching and we know that you guys can always help us comment and leave those comments so that we can leave the interaction going. As usual, I've got my co-host, my partner in crime, Lelo. Over to you.
KG, you're such a vibe. Hi guys, welcome to our podcast. So happy to be here. Today we have Katleho going as AKA KIGO.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So Katleho, I can't say really he's my friend. He's actually my son. Like literally my son. So we work together, and he's here today to share with us his story about church, how he started his rap music, how was that received by the church, his family, and everything that go with it, how he felt, how he navigated through that. So so I'm looking forward to hear your story and to share with our viewers. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you, man. I feel good to be here, so let's go.
Yeah.
The
rap coming through. I see. Nice. So Katleho, can you please just we're gonna start obviously.
Okay.
Don't be surprised. We're gonna get right to it.
Okay.
Can you please just tell us about your background, where you grew up, who Katleho is?
Right. Okay, so first and foremost, my name is Katleho. I was born and bred in Tembisa. I'm a firstborn of 5. I'm a PR account executive by profession. I'm a musician by passion. I think that's my story. I enjoy music. I enjoy going out. I'm a very social being. I used to play soccer, funny enough, but that's like my that's like in history books. And I'm just like a free-spirited person.
And I'm liking that you said what by passion. A
musician by passion.
Yeah, because I mean, like, lots of people don't know what is a passion. What do you think it's a passion, according to you?
A passion is what, like, that one thing that drives you, like, to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
I feel like that's passion enough.
And like, how does one realize their passion? What do you think it takes for you to realize your passion?
I think it comes like moments of like just finding yourself in like bits and pieces of like things that you get involved with. Like I would like music, I would play soccer, I would play cricket, but that one thing that keeps coming back, like actually I enjoy that, and it's just like driving me to like work on the craft and like better it. So that's all it is.
So so did you always know that this is the line that you wanna take actually?
I won't lie, no. I just stumbled into it. I never planned for it. It just so happened, like it came with time, I guess.
Yeah,
I never like really planned for it.
Yeah.
And
then so obviously we're gonna talk about the church stuff. Okay. So were your parents also strong church people?
Yeah. To be honest, I think she knows. I don't have like a relationship with my parents. But no, it's okay. I'm open to talking about it. But
okay.
my grandmother brought me up. and my late aunt. They've been always been like spiritual beings, religious beings, going to church and taking me to church. So them, yes, they were, but I don't know about my parents.
Are you willing to share, like, why are you not having a relationship with your parents? Are they still alive?
Yeah, no, they're still alive. I'm not sure what happened, what went wrong, but I guess it comes with, it's packaged together. It's my world. I'm sure I'm not the only person going through it, but they're still alive. They're alive and kicking, but I'm okay. I made peace with it. It took like forever, but like I'm okay now. I'm stable enough. Yeah, I'm at peace.
So what you're saying is I have to ask, did they just leave you, or what were you like, we just want to know what's the story?
Yeah, no, I was neglected as like I think I was like 8 years. They both went separate ways. They broke up, and then my aunt took me in, and then from there it was okay, cool. Like my aunt's like, this is my son. Both their parents are gone, so I'll take care of him.
Your aunt from your father or your
from
mother?
She was my father's sister.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But she's late now. R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So, and then more on that, Kat, obviously, so your mother is still alive and your dad is still alive.
Yeah.
But when did, if you don't mind sharing, when did that time come for you to like accept that there is no relationship? 1, 2, what steps did you take? Because you can only speak for yourself, right?
Yeah.
You cannot speak for them. What steps did you take to try to reach out to build a relationship, and then coming to acceptance that, you know what, I need to accept this. It is what it is.
Yeah. I think for many years of my life, like I've struggled with like self-acceptance. Like, what did I do to them? Is it, did I say anything? Did I do anything? But it only hit me when like I finished matric, because they were not part of the picture. Like I was celebrating, my family came, my friends came, like, yo, you going to university? And then I looked around and no parents,
Sure.
So I felt like at that moment, that's when it hit me, like, okay, cool, I'm going to next year alone, pretty much, And speaking of the steps that I took, I went for therapy, I went for counseling. That's mainly why I went to church, actually, funny enough. I went to church because I felt lonely. I was at a very
down.
Yeah, it was like a down low moment for me. But yeah, the church helped me a lot. Counseling really helped me a lot. So yeah.
But then what I want to know also is that, did you try to contact them or reach out to them? And if you did, what was the response?
I did. A lot of times, especially my mom. I think maybe like 3-4 times. I even went to where she used to stay. I don't know if she still stays there. I think in somewhere in Pretoria. I went there a couple of times, and but like the reception was you could see like it's a bit off. It was like forced. With my dad, I have no idea what happened. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so your mom, does she have her own? Did she start a whole new family? Does she have kids?
Yeah, she has a husband and like 2 kids, I think. The last time I checked.
Sure. And how does, like, thinking about that, how does that make you feel? Because now she started a whole new family, like, without you.
I don't know, man. At first it felt like obviously there's like sense of negligence. It's like, okay, cool, this person doesn't love me, doesn't appreciate me, doesn't consider me as their own. But like I don't know how I did it. God intervened, because I don't know how I'm like at this peace that I am today. But it happened the way it had to happen. So I guess everything happens for a reason.
And then if just to I don't want to say wrap this up so that we can get to the church stuff. But when was the last time you had a conversation with your mom or dad?
My dad, I think it was about 3 years ago. My mom, probably like 10 years ago.
And what was the conversation?
Or
how did you reach out?
So yeah, I think with my mom, it was me going to a place and try to mend things. She didn't even look happy to see me. But like, I think that is the last conversation. I think the last thing she said to me was, "I can't wait to see your daughter." You know, that is the last thing she said to me. And then with my dad, I've reached out so many times. You know, I had like a fallout with him a couple of times. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm here. I'm alive.
Yeah. And did they probably silly to ask this, but is there anything maybe they did before, like also to try to reach out to you? Nothing.
Nah, nothing like that.
And how did you come to terms with that? How did you accept that? Like, you know why I'm asking?
Yeah.
Like, let me just try to make an analogy. So you know the word of God says that I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, right? So for me, that says like, I am not my mother, I'm not my father, because you knew me even before any interaction or whatever. And for me, that gives me some sort of, the only person that loves me genuinely is God, and I accept that. And whoever doesn't, it's for them.
Yeah.
And I cannot change that. Nyara nyara, all those things.
Yeah.
For you, when did you come to that acceptance? You know what? This is this. Like, what were you meditating on? What were you saying to yourself?
Yeah.
You know, how did you come in terms of accepting that without any bitterness
Yeah.
or anger?
Oh,
or,
has he accepted?
oh yes.
That's the another question as well.
Okay, cool. Now, like, I have accepted. Like I said before, like, it took me a while, but I remember me just sitting in like my back room at that time, crying myself to sleep because I think that night I felt like a bit like suicidal.
Sure.
Yeah, but like, I think it's that moment that actually like I had like a very like a intimate conversation with God to be like, if this is my last day, so be it, but I'm gonna make peace with the life that you chose for me. And I think after the day after, like, I felt a bit lighter. You know, I think that prayer really like took me through everything and anything that could actually like shut me down, you know. But like, I think more than anything, like, God elevated me. I wouldn't have done it without God, you know. Yeah.
So have you always had that relationship with God?
No, I've never.
Okay.
I've never, like, I was anti-Christ, I was anti-God. God doesn't exist. Show me, point to me, where's God now? No, I was that guy, you know. But I think that disconnection between me and my parents had to happen so that God can actually like invite me in, because I feel like if my parents were around, I was gonna be like, yo, listen, these are my gods, I don't need anyone else, you know. So he had to take away something to give me something. Yeah.
So you mentioned that, okay, obviously there was some point where you went to church.
Yeah.
So at what age was that, and were you going to church on a daily, or like how frequent
I was forced to go to church. I never wanted to go to church. I was forced to go to church. It was never like, you know, voluntary, but like I think I used to like going to Sunday schools. Yeah, because, you know, that's where I would meet a lot of kids and we would interact. But I didn't go there to know about God. I went there to like socialize, you know. So, but like up until obviously I had a like encounter with like God, to be like, okay, cool, this is real. Then I started like going to church, but like by myself. I didn't need any support or whatever. So yeah.
And you know what I like about that encounter is like you were honest.
Yeah.
And you were vulnerable, because sometimes when you go to God, you might think, Corey, you need to be perfect, you need to say certain things, and then if you did something wrong, maybe you cannot go to God. And as you know, with what you shared, like you went to him and you were like honest, like if this is my last day, having those suicidal thoughts, but you had the strength to go to him. So for me, that says to anyone listening to you right now, that in whatever situation that you are in, you can go to God.
Yeah.
You can reach out to him.
For sure.
In whatever it is that you did, or however you are. And you know, as he came through for you, he can also come through for you.
For sure.
Yeah. So
For
I really love that. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So, like in church, what activities were you doing there?
Funny enough, I was like a videographer.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to take like videos. I was also part of the coordinating team for the youth ministry. I used to organize trips, conferences, events of some sort. I was part of that team. So those were like my two big roles before I went to like music. Yeah.
Okay. And then I want to put in like the rap music somehow.
Let's go.
So you were taking the video. At what point in that those activities did you think we need to upgrade a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring in like what the youth is all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I like that actually. You guys are taking me back. So there was this one conference, because I would take like 360 videos. I would take the sermon, I would take the audience, I would play around. And then there was a point where I would take the sermon from the pastor, and this guy's like hyped up, he's like there, he's energetic, and then I go to the audience. These people are bored to death.
Sure.
These people they're not interested. So I felt like something needs to be done here, especially like amongst the like youth. I would see they were like disconnected, they didn't hear what the guy was saying. So I felt like something needs to be done to be like relatable to them, and like find something that's gonna like they will relate to, pretty much. So I feel like that's where I had to come in a bit. Yeah.
And how did you come in then?
Yeah. So it was in 2015. I remember I had like my earphones on before
in church.
No, that's before church. So
Okay.
on my way to the church in the taxi, I had my earphones on. I was listening to a guy from the US called Lecrae. And then this guy was rapping, was talking about God. I'm like, what's going on here,
Because we're not used to
at
that time, particularly 2015, to rap and a faith-based church. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this is the like I was bumping to the song, and then I liked it, and I actually listened to the lyrics. It goes hand in hand with what the scripture said. And then I had a conversation with one of the coordinators. I'm like, I feel like we must do something with the youth and for the youth, and then that's when I started organizing like concerts in church. And then while we organized those concerts, I would like perform my songs. But initially I started with performing Lecrae songs, the guy that I was listening to in the taxi. I would perform his songs, and the youth like used to like it. I was like, okay, cool, this is doable. I can like have a conversation with these people. And then I think that like one thing led to another, and then I started recording my own music, and then I took it to the church, and then the rest is history.
Okay, so to be specific,
Yeah.
which kind of music were you recording for yourself, so that we know?
Was I recording for myself?
Yeah.
It was hip hop.
Gospel. It was hip hop.
It was hip hop. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
What
hip
kind
hop.
of hip hop?
It was Christian hip hop.
Christian hip
Yeah,
hop.
it was Christian hip hop.
So at what point did you think it's okay? I'm also a stereotype. When I hear hip hop,
Yeah.
I'm associating it with all these like swearing words and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand, at what point did you think it's okay to take this like hip hop to church?
Yo, I don't know. I don't know. I just grew up with like confidence and conviction to be like, okay, this is what the church needs, and I'm gonna give it to them. I didn't care about anything else. I was just convicted and like, okay, cool. This is, I'm gonna do this. you know. So I didn't think twice. I didn't,
You didn't consult with anyone,
I
like
didn't
the
consult.
elders, whatever.
No, that's just my friends. They're like, guys, I'm gonna do this in church, and yeah, that was it.
And then so you were performing the rap music,
Yeah.
Christian rap music
Yeah.
during the youth concerts. Concerts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So then when you performed the rap music in church, faith-based church, how did the church, the congregation, the pastor, everyone receive that while you were performing?
Right. So Um, I'm gonna have to be very careful with this one because with the youth, they found it to be more relatable, especially the rhythm, the lyrics, the production behind it. But obviously, when I took it to the main church, to
Yeah.
the main congregation, obviously, people were raising their eyebrows and like, I could see they were questioning, okay, what's going on there on stage, when I tried to interact with the crowd, they wouldn't interact with me. I started feeling some sort of like a offish energy to be like, okay, they're not like welcoming what I'm doing. But once I minister to the youth, it's a different ball game.
So was it a once-off? Because I'm trying to visualize it.
Yeah.
So was it something that happened once off?
Yeah.
Or was it something that you persistently kept on doing?
No, it didn't happen once. I even lost count.
Yeah.
I was traveling throughout Gauteng. I even went to like Nelspruit one time. I still received a bit of like that energy to be like, what you're doing is not really welcome here, But there's been a couple of churches, man. Obviously, I won't mention names, but like where I got like a warm welcome and my music was like welcome. Yeah. And,
But then, while you were performing and you could see that the church, the congregation is not engaging, they're not accepting their eyebrows, how did that affect your performance? 1, 2, your self-esteem, and then 3, what then kept you going? Sorry to ask all 3 of them at the same time, but then what kept you going? Because you say you didn't only perform it once, you continued.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. I won't lie. It really like put a dent on my confidence. It really put me in a position to be like, is this what I'm really supposed to do? Is this what God really called me to do? When I'm on stage, like I would feel alive for like the first 5 minutes, and then throughout the whole performance, like I would see even people just be on their phones and just
and you
like
would continue. Sorry.
yeah, no. Yeah, I would
Until you finish.
I would continue. Like I had to be professional about it. I would see people on their phones, some people walking out of the buildings, and but the youth will remain. So, but yeah, it was the phase that I feel like I had to go through. It really put like an effect on my self-esteem. It did.
And then at any point in your performances in church, did you ever like felt like, because the congregation, the elderly people were not receiving your rap, your Christian rap music well, did you at any point feel like I should have a conversation with a pastor or anyone and ask them, okay guys, I did this, this is like, did you engage or try to get any feedback as to just to make a sense of it, basically?
I didn't really like actively reach out to them, but like I would like have conversation with them like outside the building, like after my performance, and they'll be like questioning like, why are you doing what you're doing, we're very interested to know. And that's when I would like explain like, no, I'm doing this because I want to minister to the youth. I feel like this is a more relatable sound to them, but I've never actively tried to like prove a point or like teach them or stuff like that. I just like let it be. I just like went with the flow.
Okay. And then when you did have those conversations, what were the feedback from them? Like, what did the pastor say, whoever that you were engaging with at the church, say to you? There's been like a mixture of like comments. Some pastors from your non-traditional churches will be like, yo, Ishlu, we like what you're doing, you must come back for our youth conference, then your old like traditional churches will be like, we don't really root for what you're doing now, but like we understand your vision, but I feel like it's not an ideal place to like showcase it. So there's been like a couple of comments that actually like cut me deep,
Do you think like somewhere in the future, or did you eventually get the acceptance you needed? Let me first start there with regards to the hip hop.
From the outside world, yes, but from my church and the community of like Christ, I didn't really receive it the way I hoped I would. But like from the out, there was a one guy from the UK that actually listened to my music, and he reached out to me saying he likes what I'm doing and stuff, you know. So I feel like I had like more love and appreciation and recognition from the outside world than I did like in my hometown or like at church.
Phew.
Yeah.
That's actually quite, yeah, interesting. Like I'm trying to understand, why do you think, I think maybe even to you, Lelo, Christians or like faith-based, like, why do you think they have a set way of doing things and they are so opposing to change, or like to change with time?
Yeah, I think because, you know, when they hear rap or hip hop, they think of it as gangsterism. And it might be that they don't want to open a door to that. You understand? And not, instead of being afraid of opening a door, instead of them being open-minded, trying to understand the lyrics, the messaging behind that.
Yeah.
Because I think there's also South African rap artists that are doing Christian music. It's just that I can't think of them. I
it's
know
Jube.
Yes, that does, you know, Christian rap or rap music.
I think like also like, you know, it boils down to like your background, like how you were taught. It boils down to that. A lot of people that have been taught like hip hop itself is demonic, you know, and gospel music is like holier than thou, you know. So we've been taught that, and like we went into life with that kind of like mindset. So it's not an easy thing to change like overnight, you know. It's gonna take a bit of time. And with me, like I was getting comments like, you trying to take what's off the world and you bring it in church, you know. So you actually going against what we're teaching. So I was getting like a lot of, so it's not easy to change like a mindset of someone who's been taught this one thing for like years. Yeah.
But what I can say is the young people, I think, are the future of tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe if we I don't know if I'm supposed to say we, because I'm so old, but if the youth can, you know, plant that seed for the future. So what was like one of the hardest comment that you got from like the church about your music that has really hurt you? And like,
okay, one comment that I got was you are not pro kid.
Phew.
Yeah, you are not pro kid, you are a child of God.
And so, pro kid that good music for me, because now I like rap, hip hop. Yes.
So but you remember like hip hop, like I said, like it's like you said also, it's associated with like gangsterism, and pro kid was rapping more about the life in the streets, you know. So they felt like I'm actually like following suit, and that actually wasn't the case. But like I think that is one of the hardest comments, to be like, someone is actually thinking I want to do that type of music, but I'm trying to minister to the youth using the gospel. But
did anyone, because you were ministering to the youth, did anyone from the youth like stand up for you? Because or was anyone of the youth aware that the church was saying no to your music, and like say, but this helps us, this is ministering to us? Did that ever happen?
Maybe behind my back, but it like on a public level, it has never happened. I've never got any like intervention from anyone to be like, you know what, we feel like what you're doing really helps us and we're gonna fight for you. I've never received that, but maybe it happened behind my back, I don't know.
Yeah.
With the whole journey in the church, you know, and how they received your Christian hip hop music, how did it affect you in terms of being active in the church and in terms of still being part of the church, meaning going to church? You know, and when you were in church, how you felt?
Okay, so I think it's important for me to make it known that me being rejected and me like not going to church anymore. It's not a one-time incident. It's a piled up of like many incidents that I encountered at church, outside of church. I went to the same church for like 5 years, and then within that 5 years, I was also touring other churches. That's when I
Touring.
felt, I was touring, you know.
What a word.
I was touring, so that's where I felt, the level of rejection that I felt, and then I stayed away from church for like 2 years, but that was mainly the reason why I actually like left the church, just because I felt rejected. Yeah.
And then in that 2 years that you left the church, one, what were you doing in terms of spirituality, connection with God? Two, did anyone from the church ever reach out to you? Because remember, now they're not seeing you at church.
Yeah. I'm gonna be as honest as possible. In that period of 2 years, I had no connection with God. I completely disconnected from God, from church. Couple of people did reach out to me. I remember the personal assistant of the main pastor actually drove to my house and then had a chat with my aunt about like what's going on about with Kat and stuff. But I was honest with her, like I told her, as I'm telling you guys, that I felt rejected to a point where there was no sense of belonging, So they did reach out to me a couple of times. I didn't budge.
You didn't budge.
Yeah.
Then sorry, KG, do you like sitting here now think that the rejection from the church, them not accepting you and your Christian rap music, didn't it like somehow take you back to your parents, like being rejected again, but now in the sense that not the rap music, but they rejected you as a person?
That's
like thinking back, in high.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. I like really, to be honest, I haven't really thought of it that way. But like hearing you like asking that question, it makes sense. It makes sense why I disconnected from church, from God, because I know that pain. Like I've been through that pain, and I didn't want to like revisit it. I just want to like ignore it, shut it down, not address it, not entertain it. So I felt like it was a reminder of the pain that I went through, So
So would you say you had resentment towards the church, if we had to be honest?
Towards the church, yes. Towards God, no.
Okay.
Yeah, towards the church, I was like, God, your people they are two-faced. They're not who they present to be. But like towards God, I've always loved God. God loved me before I even loved them. So I've never like doubted him or anything like that. But yes, resentment towards the church, I did.
It's interesting that you said that in that 2 years you didn't have a connection with God. However, it doesn't mean when you don't have a connection with God you stop believing in him and his love. So I because for someone listening, you might think, oh, how can you say you were not connecting with him but you still it happens that yes, you still believe in him.
How?
But the thing
How?
is, because of, for me, if I might share, is that yes, I believe, but because you are hurt and you internalize the hurt, it's somehow difficult to go to him. But it doesn't mean that you don't believe in him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just that you are humanly unable to have a conversation now, because sometimes you don't even know where to start. But it doesn't mean Hori now you stop believing in him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in that 2 years, Kat, where you didn't go to church, couldn't have the conversation with God, even though you still believed in him, were you ever exposed to any substance abuse or anything to numb the pain? Because now I'm thinking that, oh my gosh, the church is is rejecting me
Mm.
and my music, and I was rejected by my parents.
Mm.
So, like mentally, your mental state.
Yeah.
What kept you going? I think
Yes.
that's what.
Yeah.
What kept you going in that 2 years? Yeah.
Yeah. I won't lie, right? Like for me, it was like a combination of like many things. And I remember my late aunt at that time. She was like my pillar of strength. She was one person like I would go to for anything. So I feel like she kind of like helped me to face life. You know, I would literally go to her for anything and everything. Like if I need money, if I need food, if I need clothes. So she kind of like helped me to like she never judged me. She never, you know, she understood the journey that I was going through. But that's one. And then number two, because I have a daughter.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a daughter, I had to, you know, change the perception, you know, to be like there's a bigger picture than just me feeling you know, low or feeling down or whatever. There's a bigger picture, you know, there's another human being in the picture, and I have to be strong. I have to keep going. I feel like that's where I kind of like made a decision to reconnect once again with God, just for strength.
Yes, that's true.
I think going back to Lelo's question as well, at some point, was there ever a point where you were tempted to numb the pain? Be honest. Like,
there was. I won't lie. There was. This I like the fact that you guys created a safe space for me to be honest. But there was like I gave myself away to like alcohol, parties, women, just the wild lifestyle, you know. That was in that 2-year period, that was my life, you know. I would drink, I would go out, I would have this woman, have that woman. That was it felt good at that time when I was doing it, but until it hit me one time to be like, actually, this lifestyle, you're not gaining anything from it. The only thing it's doing is taking a lot from you. So I had to come to that realization and like go back to, you know, the drawing board. Yeah.
Would you say, I'm gonna go back, you've healed like your wounds from your childhood, or would you say it's still a learning progress kind of thing?
I don't think I'm fully healed, but like every day it gets better, you know. I feel like every day it gets better, especially when like I invite God in. It gets way better. I wouldn't have done it by myself. There was no way. I think by now I was supposed to be dead or 6 feet under, or like somewhere in prison or in hospital, but I'm here, you know. So I wouldn't have done it by myself. Yeah.
So now that what is your relationship with the church currently? And if there is, are you actively involved? Are you a member? And what's the relationship and your activeness in a faith-based church? And is it also the same church, or did you change a church? I had to change the church because but I'm at a new church now. It's called Hope Restoration. It's in Clorkop, Captain Park. I'm not actively involved, although I think like last year I was part of the marketing team. I was helping with like social media, the website management and all of that, but until they brought another team, then I had to step back a bit. But currently I'm not involved, but that's where I go, you know, for revival, you know, to hear the word. So I don't have any resentment. I don't have any resentment against the church, anything like that.
What keeps you going to church? Because obviously it's so easy to take a break for 2 years. I might say it might not be difficult to go back. So what keeps you going? Because you've said you've left church quite what keeps you going back to church? It's for me, it's gratitude, you know. Like I always thank God for, you know, being with me all these years. You know, like I said, like I never thought I'll make it by myself. So for me, it's like, God, listen, I'm still thanking you even today. You know, I wouldn't have done it without you. I'm here because of you. What happened, you know the reason behind it.
So for me, the only reason was just to say thank you. Whatever reason there was in my past, it's because God meant it to like happen that way. Yeah. So.
Okay. And then at your new current church, how long have you been there? And then, is there like, would you ever in your current church bring in the rap music? And because I'm thinking it not keeping you from being fully active and fully yourself.
Yeah. So the only reason why I went to that church is because there's Christian rap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is mainly the only reason why I'm like, okay, this church, they actually like, welcome this thing. So I went there. There was already like programs for kids to do music, poetry, and all of that. So it's already implemented. Yeah.
So what do you think? Have you wondered why this specific church is so open and the other one is not, so that you can somehow whatever learnings as well, whatever learnings through this church, maybe the other church can learn from? Or is it because maybe it's got young?
I don't know, but I feel like it's more of a like open mindset type of thing. I feel like they're more open. They're not narrow-minded. But yeah, I think it boils down to like your mindset. Yeah.
Do you think rap music is your calling? Like Christian rap music is your calling?
I'm gonna confidently say no. Yeah. I did it out of passion. I don't think I did it out of purpose. But it was for me to minister to the youth at that time, to plant the seed, which I believe I did at some point. But as for my calling, no, I know what my calling is now.
What is your calling?
Obviously,
I have to, like finesse it. I have to, groom it, nurture it. So I'm not at a position to like talk about it for now. Yeah.
I think I know we've passed that. I just wanna ask, like, how does it feel like when you see a child with both their mom and their dad? Does it?
You like this topic, nah?
It's like
I feel good, man. Like I don't. It has never.
Now you feel good
now I feel like it's okay. Like it's a beautiful thing because I have a daughter, and like it's a beautiful thing. But obviously, back in the day when I was young, I would long to have that. I would see guys that would be like parents meetings, and I would bring in my uncle. But people would bring their parents, mom and dad. I feel like I'm like a lost sheep or something like that. But like at that time, it didn't sit well with me. But now, like I'm okay, man. I'm grown. I understand things now. I'm mature enough to get to a level of like tolerance. So yeah.
So would you say, were you made fun of like while growing up, maybe because you can't bring your parents, or did nobody know that okay, this is not your as a kid?
As a kid,
I'll tell you why I'm asking. So when I grew up,
okay.
So my parents were there, but there were some points where they were working far, ne?
Right.
So I had like my auntie who was staying with us, and there would be parents' evening and stuff. Even though my parents were there, but I did feel a bit left out because some kids would take their parents with, and I couldn't at that point.
Yeah. For me, it's a different ball game. Like at a young age, I was like, I didn't know where to go, what to do, So I feel like it kind of like made me like to be the person that I am today. But even though like I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but it kind of like one thing led to another for me to be like the guy that I am today. So
the guy that you are today, I have to ask, do you think was like influenced negatively based on like your parents not being in your life?
Yeah, and I think it had to happen that way. I feel like there was a lot of like negative influences for me to grow, for me to be stronger, for me to be wiser. So yeah, I feel like that's my story. That's like my journey, Yeah. So it had to happen that way, and I'm grateful for it. Yeah.
Obviously, I see Lelo is really like I mean, really, are you gonna give us a few lines here and there? We want to see like how talented you are.
You know,
Like, yeah, we have to put you on the spot. You can't tell us you are a rapper and
or you can close off and share some beats like subscribe.
yeah, we are one.
So
Yes.
Yeah,
so I can't freestyle, right?
yeah,
Okay.
whatever
I can't,
it's there.
Yes.
Okay,
I can't do that, but I'll do like a few lines
Okay.
alright.
from one of the songs that I compiled like
Yes.
2-3 years ago.
We waiting.
It's not that deep though, but okay.
Do you have a beat?
Do you guys have a beat?
No,
You know?
no, we don't have. But just
Ne.
go with it.
Quiet.
Quiet.
All right, cool. Ariye modimo. I'm not talking about fame, drugs, money. It's a moment. Don't you wanna know? I'm talking about the Jesus who will never let you go. Ariye modimo. Hey, I'm not talking about fame, drugs, money. It's a moment. Don't you wanna know? Hey, I'm talking about the Jesus who will never let you go.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, beautiful. So
Thank
where
you,
can
man.
people like listen to the music?
Yeah, it's all over like digital platforms, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. There's a couple of music videos that are also shot. They're on YouTube as well. So yeah,
And
go
then
go
what's
check
your
them out. Katleho. Yeah. If you can search for KATLEHO.
Okay.
On YouTube is KATLEHO. Mashego. MASHEGO.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But I'll share those details
Please do.
in the description so that when our subscribers, our viewers, they can go check out your music.
Yeah.
And then, Kat, thank you so much.
Thank you
for
guys.
sharing. It's been, it's been great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Great.
Thank
And
you.
I think for me, in conclusion, since I'm a mom, I don't, obviously not to judge or anything, but I cannot imagine being pregnant with my baby and having to go through the pain of giving birth and then leaving my baby behind. So that's why I kept on going back.
Makes sense.
Because it really
You understand?
I really
Yeah.
want to understand because it did affect me a lot, and it got me thinking as
Yeah.
a mom to say what would affect another mom to do something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, people are different. We have different journeys in life.
Yep.
And yes, guys, thank you for watching. Yes, and don't forget, please subscribe, and definitely see you next time. We love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ooh.